Hello, everyone, and welcome in. With the Women's College World Series going on, we figured there was no better time to bring back our friend Justin McLeod at D1 Softball. So, Justin, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy day to come join us here.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's the best time of the year. Anytime I get to talk softball, I'm in for it.
Yeah, I mean, we love to talk softball here. It's been an awesome run through the tournament. And in Oklahoma City now, 8 teams left as we go into these first batch of elimination games. And I want to start right off with you because your preseason pick is not here. The Oklahoma Sooners, how shocked are you about this?
I mean, yeah, I was surprised. I mean, I did pick Oklahoma to win in the preseason. I actually doubled down on that, picked them again right before the Super Regionals. I did a radio hit and said, hey, yeah, I think Oklahoma's still going to be it. I think at the end of the day, the pitching that had kind of plagued Oklahoma all year kind of caught them, and the offense just didn't, just decided to take the wrong weekend off. So yeah, surprise for sure, but I also see the recipe because that was the few things that Oklahoma team might have had gone wrong this year is kind of what bit them in the end.
Yeah, they were a team that was really up and down, especially in the circle. And we talked last time about how important pitching was. And as you see with these teams that make made Oklahoma City, like the aces seem to be so important in Tennessee, at Texas Tech, at Texas. Um, it makes me wonder about UCLA because Taylor Tinsley is not in that same conversation, I think, in the national conversation about those aces. We saw what happened then against Alabama, really close game. But how do you feel about UCLA going into an elimination game tonight when they are probably the weakest staff in the tournament?
There's no question about that in my mind. They are the weakest pitching staff. The kicker is they have an argument to be the best offense in the tournament. And the combination of those two things it's quite the mix, let me tell you. I mean, that's the thing about UCLA is Taylor Tinsley has been more of an ace by default than she has an ace by performance. Now, her performance has not been bad by any stretch. I'm not dogging her performance. She has been very durable and she's stayed solid throughout. But it's just her. That pitching staff is Taylor Tinsley and whoever gets to throw against, a midweek against Long Beach during the season kind of thing. That's really what it's been for UCLA. She's an old school ace. You think back to when some of these, Taryn Moat, who's now the pitching coach at Mississippi State, when she was pitching for Arizona in the World Series, she did through all the innings. That's going to be Tinsley here for however deep UCLA's run is. That to me, you hit the nail on the head. That's the weakness of UCLA. And truth be told, in this elimination game, if they're going to make a run, they got to do it through the losers bracket. So it's going to be Tinsley, and then if they win, then it's Tinsley, and if they win, then it's Tinsley. Like that's how it's going to go. So that's the thing. How long can she hold up, and how well can the offense support her? I think going into this elimination game, it's going to be. I see it being more of an offensive showcase, just because the scouting reports at this point on the pitcher. Certainly, when you have one pitcher to primarily scout, that's. I'm not going to say it's easy by any stretch, right? Nobody got here doing anything easy. But relative to being at the World Series, it's one of the easier things when you only have to truly scout one pitcher really in depth. So to me, UCLA is a very good offense, one of the best offenses in the country all year, might be the best offense here. The pitching staff's the weakness.
Yeah, it certainly has been kind of the Achilles heel for UCLA all season long. And like you said, it's Tinsley or bust throughout the rest of this World Series. So we'll see what happens for them. Another team that I was really interested in getting to this point is Texas Tech. The Super Regional against Florida was as full as much drama as you could ever put on a paper to cinema. And then you have all the struggles that they've had in the circle with one of the best offenses in the country that couldn't really get anything going. And now they show up in their first game and they absolutely blitz it with a run rule win. And they might be the favorites going into that top half of the winners bracket to just coast their way into the championship series. So what have you seen from them and what do you think about Texas Tech right now?
I mean, truth be told, that's probably the best performance I've seen from Texas Tech's offense this year. It's not the most runs they've scored. It's not the most home runs they've hit or anything like that. But that's the first time I feel like Texas Tech truly beat really good pitching. They've had a couple of wins against really good pitchers through the course of the year. Maybe if you count the first win against Florida and Rothrack last weekend, one win where they took Arizona State and Kenzie Brown and put like 6 runs on Kenzie Brown. But yesterday, the opening game of the tournament felt like the first time they've truly just soundly beaten, I guess, really good pitching, and they did. Like Mississippi State's offense did kind of what we expected. So nothing against Tech's pitching, but the offense for Tech was what stood out to me. That's the first time I felt like that was a team that really truly beat good pitching. Like that on this stage to dominate Mississippi State's pitching, which is very, very good. That stood out to me as one of the crowning moments of day one, not just because they run ruled them, but because that was maybe the first time all year that Texas Tech's done that.
Yeah, and it leaves a really interesting matchup on the plate here because now they go against, I don't know, can you say she's the best pitcher in the country? She's the best pitcher in the eyes of the AUSL with Tennessee. So just previewing that matchup a little bit, what do you think we're going to see there, and how does Texas Tech get to Carlin Pickens?
Well, the thing is, like both Tech and Tennessee have a 1-2 punch. So Tech's got Terry and Kennedy, Caitlin Terry, Nyjah Kennedy in the circle. Tennessee's got Pickens and Sage Marjetko, all Americans, all of them this year. And then you throw Aaron Newer as the three at Tennessee, which she'd be the ace of most SEC pitching staffs, which so just extra depth just for the fun of it. I think that's the thing for me is the pitching is known. The pitching is very, very good. And I think that's going to be the deciding factor, which pitching staff has a better day. I do think, to me, both offenses kind of impressed me more than I expected them to on day one. Tennessee's offense has been very spotty this year. When they're good, but they've been very spotty. The way they showed out against Tegan Cavan and Citlali Gutierrez in Texas on day one impressed me about as much as the way Texas Tech's offense beating Mississippi State did. So that's the thing to me. Two offenses that have kind of been, good, but kind of hit or miss, kind of this question mark, that question mark against two of the best one, maybe the two best 1-2 punches in the circle in the country. Like that to me is the kind of matchup that the World Series stage is made for.
Absolutely. I think that game is going to be an absolute blast. And then on the other side of the bracket, too, you have Nebraska, who just pulled off an incredible extra innings victory last night, just battling, and finally walking it off. They have an incredible 1-2 punch, too. And I feel like Alexis Jensen, she's definitely getting some recognition. Jordy Fromm has certainly stolen the show in more ways than one. But Alexis Jensen has the talent to pitch in this Women's College World Series and send Nebraska to their first title with the mixture of those two. But it's the offense that had to kind of figure things out. And I'm wondering, do you think that Nebraska has shown you enough offensively to say that this is the year that the Huskers could capture their first title?
I don't know that I'm still ready to go that far yet, but I will say I made the statement prior to this World Series that the winner of that Nebraska-Arkansas game, which to me was the biggest game of day one, it was the closest matchup, and I think 10 innings of almost identical stat lines on the scoreboard probably proved that. But I did make the statement that the winner of that game I thought had a real chance to make a big run. You're right. Jensen has been very good for Nebraska, and she kind of has been somehow overshadowed. Granted, it's Jordy Fromm. She's going to overshadow a lot of people. Let's be honest. But Jensen's made more starts this year. The tandem that Jensen and Fromm have made in the circle for Nebraska, to me, has been the difference maker because Jordy Fromm is fresher right now than she's ever been at this point in the year, even as a fifth-year senior. And that, to me, could be an X factor. Jensen is a freshman, sure. She's not really shown any real signs of being a freshman throughout the course of the year. She can keep that up in the series. That 1-2, Jordy and Alexis Jensen, that's a dynamite group. And now you've got that first major, huge momentum, emotional win under your belt. That can carry you even further.
It will be fun to watch for Nebraska for sure. And I got one last question for you. It's the same one that I asked you last time. Now that you've seen everybody play, we know the 8 teams that are here. We've seen one day of action in Oklahoma City. Who's going to be in the championship series and who's coming home with the crown?
So after Oklahoma was eliminated, I did pick Tennessee on the radio. So I like the depth of the pitching staff for Tennessee in that top half of the bracket. And if they keep winning, they stay in that half of the bracket. And I like the pitching there. So I think I'm probably going to stick with Tennessee. I wrote Oklahoma as my pick until they lost, so might as well do the same thing with the second shot, right? Against Tennessee, Alabama Nebraska is going to be a banger of a winners bracket game. Let's just be honest. They both are, don't get me wrong, but Alabama Nebraska might be even better than Arkansas Nebraska. I think for me, after watching Nebraska against Arkansas, it's going to be hard for me to pick against Nebraska. Alabama's very good. Texas Tech is very good, to be clear. But I think it's going to be hard for me to pick against Nebraska. So I think at this point, I'm going to go Tennessee, Nebraska. But truth be told, you could give me any of those teams in the winner's bracket and maybe a couple in the loser's bracket and say they're there. And I'd be like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's super fair. I had I had Nebraska over Texas in a 3-game series in the championship. So we'll see if that comes true, but it's not looking good for Texas at the moment.
You had a UT in there. That's what counts. So orange and white school, just the shade of orange and what the initials stand for. It's the only differences.
Yeah, I just looked at the logos wrong, like they did on the billboard with the Arkansas logo.
Yeah.
Well, Justin, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming on. Always a pleasure to chat with you, and we'll see if either of us get the hard predictions right here in a week.
No, sounds great. I appreciate you having me.
We are super appreciative of Justin giving us his time. He is so busy right now with the Women's College World Series going on, but still managed to carve out a spot for us to chat. So thank you very much to Justin. Go check out his work at d1softball.com. They will keep you covered throughout the rest of the Women's College World Series and beyond into the offseason and in the lead up to the 2027 campaign. So check them out at d1softball.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe and like the video here if you enjoyed the content, because it means that we can bring more of this type of stuff to you right here on the ONIT Athlete YouTube page. And if you haven't already, do go follow us on our social media accounts. We are running a softball pack giveaway throughout the rest of the Women's College World Series on our Facebook, Instagram, and X accounts. So go follow us there, go like, share, and comment on the post that says giveaway, and you can be entered to win one of our exclusive Women's College World Series softball packs. So we'll see you over there. Stick around here on YouTube as well, because we'll be back with plenty more coverage of both the men's and women's College World Series throughout the rest of June. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and happy ripping, and good luck in the giveaway.